Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone, who do rule and teach well. Peace and blessings, salutations as always to sincere Akim, pushing this gospel to the four corners of the earth, laboring this truth in all diligence, righteousness, and sincerity. And to the few sincere Aquath who listen and learn as well. To you I say Shalom. So it's the brother Azariah, back with another lesson in the spirit, going into the continued downfall of America, Babylon the Great. And our Lord Yahweh Shai, when the disciples came and asked him, what are the signs that we should look forward to know that you're about to make your return in the last days? And of course, the first thing he said was to take heed that no man deceive you, right? Meaning that Yahweh Shai was telling the disciples that in the last days, it's going to be a lot of deception, a lot of false narratives, false doctrines going around. So take heed, look well that no one deceives you, all right? And that's why now we see that the E-files, the Epstein files or whatever, that's being put out there to the forefront. Just all these other distractions with celebrities and who did this and wasn't, like all that in the grand scheme of things is not important, all right? But to take the spotlight off of this right here, Americans going hungry. Some people still have not received SNAP benefits, Some people still have not received a paycheck yet, all right? To take the spotlight off of that, all these other distractions are being put out there. But pretty much Americans at a breaking point. It's been like this for quite some time, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as we told you, that it's only going to get worse. Because when you read the scriptures, it tells you that there's nothing that can heal Babylon the Great. There's no bringing this place back. To say the least, America's best days are far behind it. Okay, we're in a stage now where this place is being judged. America is straight up under some hardcore judgment. And these people have not really experienced what it is to be in pain yet. All right, these people really ain't experienced what it is to live like people in a third world country, but they're starting to be introduced to these things now because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord is upon the land. All right, so I got this video right here from a homestead journey. Americans are being priced out of groceries and electricity. This is the breaking point, and back to the point I was making when the disciples came and asked Yahweh Shai, what are the signs of his second coming? Another thing he said was that when you begin to see earthquakes and you hear of wars and rumors of wars and things of that nature, right? That these are the beginning of sorrows. And we see wars going on right now. We're hearing news of more wars to come. The most pressing one right now was war with Venezuela. Babylon going to war with Venezuela and Nicolas Maduro. Okay, and many more conflicts that are gonna pop off real soon, man. All right, so all these things are to let us know, the true believers, that Yahweh Shai is on his way back, and that we are indeed in that time of great sorrow spoken of upon the earth. All right, so through the spirit, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Let's check it out.
According to a new Axios report, nearly 7 out of 10 Americans say that their grocery costs have gone up this year, and more than half say their utility bills have climbed too. Yet somehow, of course, we keep hearing that inflation is cooling down. The numbers may look better on paper, but the reality in many people's homes tell a different story.
I just want to say that it's wild that as a 2-income household, my husband and I have come to the realization we can't afford groceries right now. Like, just straight up can't afford groceries, because if we buy groceries, then we either won't be able to pay our rent or our electric bill, because both of those come out of this pay cycle and they will take the entire pay cycle.
And I want to say this as well. A lot of these videos you see on TikTok, a lot of them are Edomites complaining. Jake always been complaining about not being able to make it and having to stretch, money and having to do side jobs and gigs and whatever just to make ends meet, making $1 out of 15 cents. Now, these Edomites, they starting to feel what that's like. Now they starting to be introduced to what it is to live like a nigga and a spick, okay? Because for the longest time they've been on top, they've been proud as hell, they've thumbed their nose up at the average Israelite. But see, Yahweh Bashmel Shai has a way of humbling the proud, man. All right, the scriptures say that all those that are proud and lofty, shall be brought low. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick, right? The proud and lofty. Because this is the time that we in, man, to where a great humbling is going throughout Babylon. Isaiah 2:12, for the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. You see that? And the scriptures also say that the Lord draweth nigh to those that are of a humble and contrite spirit. All right, and these Edomites, they're far from that. They're far from humble and contrite. You know what I'm saying? Like, they took joy in SHIT on you Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Now the script is being flipped to now where the curses are falling upon them. And as you'll hear her say that, she's married, they ain't got no kids, but even with 2 incomes in the household, they still struggling to make it. So what is that other than the judgment of Yahweh Bashmel Shai?
That's bonkers. That's so wild. We have 2 incomes and we cannot afford to eat, and we don't even have kids. Like, it's literally just the 2 of us, and we can't afford to eat with 2 incomes. That is just. But I mean, I guess, that means we won't have to wash dishes because our dishwasher is still broken, as it has been for 2 months at the place that we pay so much in rent. Wild.
I'm about to shit a literal brick right now. I'm at Food Lion. These prices are insane. Boneless beef chuck steak, $82.99.
$82.99. God damn. What? I'm trying to see, you know what I'm saying? But it says $99.94 a pound. Where the hell is this at? You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous. But they're saying reports as well that by early next year that the price of ground beef can jump to $10 a pound, man. So look, every which way the Lord is breaking this place down. People, look, real soon, man, people ain't going to be able to afford to eat. Right now, people can't afford to eat. People are having to choose between, do they want to have their lights on, or are they going to have dinner? This the time we in, man. Look, this is why the scriptures say that it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, Yahweh Bashmel Shai, man. Because when the Lord got your card, man, it ain't nothing that you can do to get out of it. All right, you going to suffer. You see? But look at that, $83 for a small pack of meat. And then the meat that they sell in these supermarkets really, it's sterilized with all kind of chemicals, and it's flown in, on the truck for however many weeks, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of this meat that's in the grocery market really ain't even real, all right, because they got fake meat out here as well that they're not labeling, pumped full of hormones and steroids and all that type of stuff. And a lot of it just ain't good for you. And on top of that, they making you pay an arm and a leg for it. You know what I'm saying? That's why now, if you can, it's kind of good to, buy locally, find a local butcher that sells real meat, you know what I'm saying, straight from the farm. And it's much more nutritious and better for you, you know what I'm saying? Because, to say the least, man, Esau, he's doing a number on the food now, man. You know what I'm saying? And part of the reason why the meat now is so expensive is because they closing down, all these meat processing plants, man. I saw an article, Tyson just closed a meat processing plant. You know what I'm saying? And, it's happening all over America. And see, the thing about beef in particular, cattle is not a rare animal. You know what I'm saying? Cattle is pretty abundant within America, but if you know what's been going on behind the scenes, once again, distractions, these are farmers and these ranchers, they've pretty much been having to, sell their livestock or euthanize them because of these, Bill Gates and his crew coming in, buying up all the farmland, putting people out of business. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely an agenda at play here to limit the food supply in America. And if it ain't the price, you know what I'm saying? Because even if you pay for that, right? Very soon, it's not going to be no meat to buy because the scarcity is going to be the all-time high. That's why it's kind of wise now. Like, if you see that you can get your hands on some stuff, go ahead and do that, man. Put it aside, for a rainy day because, very soon, especially come 2026, the price of food is going to be outrageous. You know what I mean? So, just be prudent, man.
0.83 at $99.99 a pound. Look at this. Look at this.
So, you know what I'm saying? If it's $99.99 a pound, you ain't even getting a full pound of meat. You see? You ain't even getting a full pound of meat. That's one meal right there. Just a few years ago, $84.99 could buy you a couple packs of steaks. You know what I'm saying? Like eating good. That's not the case no more.
This is crazy. That's insane. Hey, I got a question. Is this for real? Like, me and my husband are arguing over it to see if that's a legit price or is it messed up. I know they went up on meat like hardcore, but I was like, is that real?
I mean, I'm not
right.
It seems a little high to me.
That does. Well, see, there's like 3 or 4 of them over there that are all $80-something.
I guess it must be. I don't
I know prices is high, but damn.
Well, we have officially reached the I can't afford cream cheese stage of capitalism.
So it really hit me today while getting groceries how expensive things are getting. I got 3 bags of groceries and it was $105. I got a pack of ribeyes, the value pack, that was $30. That was kind of the most expensive thing out of the bunch. A package of cookies, 2 loaves of sourdough, some Parmesan cheese, 2 things of the cheapest pasta I could find, and then some Boursin cheese and cherry tomatoes. And it was $105. I don't know how people are surviving.
Yeah. And I can attest to that. Like, the other day I went in the market. I just grabbed some small stuff. I probably grabbed some cheese, grabbed some butter, some coconut water. Man, that shit came out to like 40 something. I'm like, damn. I ain't even get like literally 1 bag, $40. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy out here. But see, this is prophecy being fulfilled. All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 6. Because look, man, in this land of America, Babylon the Great, people have prided themselves on eating well. You know what I mean? Like eating good every single day, having 3 meals a day. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is cutting that off. And furthermore, you know what I'm saying, the elites, all right, the wicked elite bankers, man, they're pressing the envelope to make sure that people ain't got no jobs. The gig economy is drying up. Food is out of reach. So they hitting you from every angle, man. This is Revelation 6 and verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So when you go into that right there, okay, when you go into penny, Strong's G1220, okay,
Strong's G1220, denarion.
So in the Greek, denarion, all right, and it goes into containing 10 denarius, a Roman silver coin in New Testament time. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses or 10 donkeys. A number after 217 BC increased to 16, about 3.898 grams or 0.1375 ounces. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. And you can reference Matthew 20 and verses 2 to 13, all right, for that parable, right? So basically, what the scripture is saying here is a measure, right? A measure of wheat for a penny, which, we go into a measure, it goes into basically, a certain amount of food that would be, sufficient for a man of a moderate appetite. All right, so not like you getting a whole lot, is, basically just enough, right? So you're going to be given, a day's wages for a small amount of food. That's basically what the scripture is saying, man. Going into inflation, ultimately hyperinflation. You see? So, what I'm saying? These things, the third seal, famine. And this is what we coming into, man, because like I said, right now it's the price of the food that's crazy, but very soon it's not going to be no food, okay? In America, this has been a place where there's always been food. Like, as long as I've been alive, there's never been a time to where I've never seen food within America. Now, whether if you could afford it or not, that's a different story. But there's always been food here. All right, the food supply chain is never completely broken down to where you've seen a whole store empty. All right, I can say I've never seen that. You know what I mean? So we're coming into a different time, man, where people not going to be eating. It's going to be a lot of people going hungry. It's going to be food scarcity. Like, even right now, they're saying that the food banks are still overwhelmed because, people still have not received those SNAP benefits, or they're having to reapply, pretty much jump through hoops just to get the benefits, man. All right. So, hey, Yahweh Bashman Shai is doing a number on this place, and these people, as it says in Luke 21 and 25, that they would be perplexed. All right. They're confused. They don't understand, how can this be? All right. This is a this is a reality that these people have never seen before. Because America, this was the place where food was cheap at one point in time. When you read 2 Ezra 16, it tell you, because victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, they shall think themselves to be in a good case. So when food was cheap, everything was pretty much relatively affordable. People thought that it would always be this way. But see, now the Lord is throwing a monkey wrench, all right, in these Americans' hopes and dreams. You know what I'm saying? And people crashing out behind this.
I don't know why it just hit me today. I live by myself, so, maybe it just doesn't really hit me as often as people with families, but I really feel for you. I don't know how people are getting by other than just going into credit card debt and debt in general. And it's not just the grocery prices that are up right now. It's the overall cost of living. I mean, house prices, rent, vehicle prices, you name it. So if you have a little bit extra to give to others right now would be the time to do it, coming into these holiday seasons, Christmas and the New Year's. Just, if you know somebody, a single mom, whoever, just trying to make it, maybe get their groceries for a week, because this just really put it in perspective for me. I mean, I got 3 bags of groceries, and like I said, I live alone, so overall, the things right now don't affect me as much as someone that has a family. So if you have a little bit extra, now is the time to do it.
So I went to the grocery store today, and understand my dynamic. I have a 50-50 custody, and we do week to week. So I have 2 teenage boys, or one soon to be a teenager, and I spent food only. I didn't buy any non-food items, and we eat fresh food. I don't buy a lot of box stuff, processed foods, a lot of fruit and yogurt and eggs, milk, healthy stuff. $350. $350. I don't even know if it'll last me the week. And I was just talking with my ex-wife, and I was like, what do you spend? Because I think I'm doing it wrong. And she told me, and it's about the same. So if we were still together, we would be spending $1,700 a month just in food. This doesn't include all the other household items I typically buy elsewhere. That's crazy.
I usually...
All right, let's get the article. All right, pretty much get the point, man. These people out here hurting. All right, even people that have somewhat of a decent income. You know what I'm saying? Behind credit card debt, mounting prices, rent increases, repairs going up. Everything around you is just astronomically high, man, to the point where people are drowning. Millions of Americans risk losing power and water as unpaid utility bills pile up. So it says here, this Tuesday marked 67 days of darkness for Kenneth Parson. He fell behind on his utility bills in the spring, and his lights went off and stayed off starting at the end of July. No power meant no refrigerator, so Parson, a 62-year-old with diabetes in Griffin, Georgia, had no choice but to store his temperature sensitive insulin on ice in a small cooler. He didn't have an easy He didn't have an easy way to cook at home either, so his wife Cheryl took to preparing some meals for him in a neighbor's kitchen. They said they couldn't do nothing for him. Lamented Cheryl, 65, who lives apart from her husband, and these are senior citizens, man. All right, so you got, and this shows you the wickedness of Esau society, man. All right, how the hell do you have senior citizens out here not being able to afford utilities? You know what I'm saying? Those are people that at this point have, pretty much gave their life to the system, retired, and, they should be taken care of, man. But see, when you live under the vibration of a wicked ruler, all right, people are left out there. There is no safety net for you, man. All right. And again, these are senior citizens. So why are we paying into Social Security? You know what I'm saying? Why are we paying into Medicare and Medicaid when nobody, all right, especially my generation is not going to see no Medicare, Medicaid, and pension, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's going away now. All right. Trump talking about 50-year mortgages. Like, who the hell is about to sign up for that? 30 years enough is crazy, but 50 is like, that doesn't even make sense. But you have people out here going months at a time with no lights on, man. All right, and especially now when the winter months, when it's cold, not having no lights can be deadly. You know what I'm saying? It says here the worst economic crisis is in more than a generation has thrust potentially millions of Americans across the country into a similar sudden peril. Cash strapped and in some cases still unemployed, they have fallen far behind on their electricity, water, and gas bills, staring down the prospect of potential utility shutoffs and fast-growing debts they may never be able to repay. And that's the position that a lot of people are in. A lot of people, I think I saw a figure that the average American has more than 50,000 in credit card debt. You know what I'm saying? The average American. So what does that tell you? The higher that credit card debt becomes, that means that people ain't making it like they used to, man. So they have to resort to using borrowed money. And the money that they're using on these cars, they're not going to be able to pay it back. They'll never be able to pay it back because with what money, with what job, all the jobs are being cut. AI and robots are taking over everything. So what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? And the video I uploaded yesterday through the spirit, that devil, Yuval Harari, he pretty much said that, once people, lose their jobs and they, don't have anything to do with it, it's going to be hard for them to find a sense of meaning in life. It's going to be hard for them to find a sense of purpose. And the solution to that, he said, was drugs and computer games, which people on drugs, ODing on drugs, man, that's at an all-time high. You see what I'm saying? So look, man, these devils, the Lord put his spirit on these elite devils to really bring the hammer down and make these people suffer, man. This is cruelty right here. Okay, and this is contrast to what DJT said when he first came in office. He said, shit, day one, I'm gonna bring down the grocery prices. I'm gonna bring jobs back. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Where? Show me where it's at, man. All right, show me these promises that these devils gave you that has been fulfilled. So really what the Lord is showing these people, man, is that the hope of Babylon is vain. Okay, hope in this world, period, is vain, man. This kingdom is on the way out. Where was I at? Americans nationwide also appear to be racking up massive unpaid bills in the process. Electric and gas debts alone threaten to reach or exceed $24.3 billion by the end of the year, according to a new NIADIA analysis released Thursday, based on roughly 24 states. In some cases, the delinquencies appear to be severe, In Indiana, for example, more than 112,000 households are behind 120 days or more on their power bills. A Washington Post analysis of the largest local energy companies records found. And another thing going on as well is that these elite devils, especially the small hats, they're buying up a lot of these power companies. So they're, juicing up the price of these utility bills astronomically high to what price people out that they'll no longer be able to afford to keep their homes. They'll no longer be able to afford to rent or anything. That they will be homeless, man, and they'll be able to throw you into a camp, and that's going to be the end of you. All right, so we live in a time now where a lot of people, they having to link back up. Families now are being pretty much forced to stay together because it's hard to be out here on your own. And that's what a lot of these single women are finding out, man. All right, that they left they, family, left a baby daddy, whatever the case may be. Now they looking for a way to make it work. So it's a funny thing of how adversity, has a way of bringing people together. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, this just shows that this is the end of this world, man. This shit is done. The debt totaling millions of dollars is 4 times greater than the areas accrued during the same period in 2019. The data shows the people who were struggling before are struggling even more. All right, and Richard Wolff, Gerald Celente, Jamie Dimon, they've been coming out for years and saying that, look, an economic hurricane is coming. All right, and it's going to be a rough ride, so prepare yourself, man. They've been saying that for years. Like, we've been bringing it out through the spirit. But you see that there is no healing in this place, man. Babylon is done. And this is a slow burn, okay? Because the Most High want these people to feel it. The Most High want these people to feel the pain, man. All right? Jeremiah 51 in verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. You see, so this place is under judgment, and the fact that this place is under judgment is causing a lot of people to flee. All right, a lot of people now are saying that the new American dream is to leave America. That's the new American dream. All right, contrast to 20, 30 years ago, people, this was the place to be. This was the place you wanted to come to build yourself up, get rich, you know what I mean? Like, and really have, some type of life, man. But the Most High put his spirit on these elites to kill that dream. All right, so here we are, Luke, let's get Luke 21. So, yeah. Luke 21 and verse 25, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity to see and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. You see? So men's hearts in this time now are failing them for fear, man. People losing hope. It's a scripture that says, Yahweh Shah says, shall I find faith on the earth? Basically, like when he returns, like who's gonna have faith? Because right now, man, like the world is barren of faith because the faith people had in this world, it's not serving them no more. You know what I'm saying? Because just like how Trump now said that nurses or healthcare, something like that now like a nursing degree is not like a professional degree or something like that. So people done spend all this time and money, resources, going to college, putting their life, into this, BS system, and now it's turning out to be of no value, right? And that's why Teddy Roosevelt, I believe it was, he said that a thorough knowledge of the Bible is more valuable than a college education, roughly paraphrasing, you know what I'm saying? But he said that, man. All right, so that Edomite knew, knew something, man. Like he was definitely smarter than the modern Edomite, to make that statement. because all this, time and money and effort that you put into getting these degrees and investing into the system, where has it gotten you? Yeah, I mean, you may have lived good for a time, but now that's over. So what you gonna do now? All right. How can you compete with AI that's coming in doing entry level work that college age students used to be able to get an internship and work for a while and build yourself up? All that shit is gone, man. Because AI and now robots are doing that work. So there is no stepping stone. There is no future here. And this is what people now are starting to realize, and that's why these seditions are starting to turn up now. You know what I'm saying? People want Trump impeached out the White House. You know what I'm saying? They about to start coming for these politicians, man. And that's prophesied as well. In 2nd Ezra 15, where it talks about they shall not regard their kings nor princes. This is the point where we at, man. And the more that the food dries up and people's life becomes more hellish, all right, that's when people are going to take to the streets more. All right, because when people can't work, they don't got no sense of purpose, and they can't eat, that's going to be grounds for riots. Okay, that's going to be cause for violence. You know what I'm saying? Follow home robberies, home invasions. You know what I'm saying? Just mass unalivings. This is what we're going to be seeing going on out here very soon. That's going to be the norm. All right? As it says, men's hearts failing them for fear, man. And fear is a motivating factor to go out and basically do what you got to do to make ends meet, man. Okay, so you can use your imagination for that. But that's where these people are being driven, you know what I'm saying, to a point of, being put in survival mode, all right? So every which way that you look at it, man, let's get Isaiah 24 and close out. Every way that you look at it, the Lord is hurting these people's spirit, man. And hey, we love to see it. Isaiah 24 in verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth. All the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets ceases. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceases. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion, which is America, Babylon the Great, is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There was a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone, meaning all the clubs are dying. Like shit don't hit the same like it used to, man. That's the bottom line. Like the mirth of this place, when you go into mirth, right? Amusement, especially as expressed in laughter. Ain't nobody laughing out here no more, man. You know what I'm saying? People are crying. You know what I mean? Like you look at the average Babylonian's face, these people are looking like they want to give up the ghost. They looking like they just want to straight crash out and just end it all, man. All right? Merriment. So all the laughter, the amusement, the merriment, it's all gone. And the only ones that can enjoy some type of mirth are the super rich. All right? That's another reason why, hey, you gotta, thank Yahweh Bashman, call Allah Yahweh Bashman Shai, the water Yahweh Bashman Shai for having a peace of mind in this time. Like having a peace of mind, that's more than what a lot of people got out here. Trust me. All right. A lot of people wish they could sleep at night. All right. These people are, up all hours of the night, just worrying, just like, damn, how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the mortgage? Can I keep the lights on? Where am I going to get money from to eat this week? All right, those that trust in Yahweh Bashman Shai, man, look, we ain't got them type of worries, man. All right, because why? The Lord is taking care of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord is making sure that we got what we need. All right? But, back to the point I was making, the only ones that can really, enjoy this society like that are the wealthy, okay? And the gap between the middle class is pretty much gone. You know what I'm saying? But the gap between the rich and the poor is becoming smaller. Okay, like the more that inflation increase and the price of everything goes up, the gap between the rich and the poor is going to become even smaller to the point where it's only going to be the poor and the ultra wealthy elites that run this world, man. That's what these devils want. All right, they only want it to be one class, okay, which is the poor for the common citizen, and them holding all the wealth, them holding all the resources. All right, so this is the reality that we coming into. All right. Verse 12, the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Right? So this place is done. All right. So this is the time where all those that put their hope and faith in the power and the strength of Babylon the Great, now they being confounded. People finding out that, yo, this place wasn't it, and it never was. You know, so I'm going to go ahead and close out right there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash. Call her Lord Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Shalom to the elect.